Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. I want to talk about some recent developments in the news in America about LG Chem, how it may affect Aptera. I don't know that it will, but it's something to think about. So you guys remember back after CES, Aptera partnered with LG Chem uh, to announce that LG Chem will be supplying the batteries. And if batteries are produced in the US, there is a theoretic possibility that there may be some incentives coming down in the future. Now, as of now, all incentives are going away at the end of this month. But eventually, if the current administration or the next administration wants to support EV transitions and domestic manufacturing, they're going to tie incentives to domestic manufacturing of batteries, which is something that America needs to do and wants to do. And so there has been a lot of investment in trying to build battery manufacturing infrastructure in the United States. Anyways, Aptera signed a agreement with LG Chem back in January, and LG Chem will be the battery supplier for Aptera. Now, what we know is that you guys, if you've been hearing the news, there was a large raid on a plant near Savannah, Georgia, that's operated jointly, will be operated jointly by Hyundai and LG Chem. They detained like 475 people, over 300 of which are South Korean nationals. And they supposedly were on the wrong visa or overstayed their visa. And they basically rounded up almost 500 people, shackled them, and put them into prisons, basically. And a few days ago, on Wednesday, they did all fly home to Korea, to South Korea. And Trump offered to let them stay because I think he realized that this was a terrible move. But at that time, the South Korean government and the officials said, you know, these guys are scared, they're tired, they're exhausted, they just want to go back home to their families. And so they just want to go back home. And so everyone basically flew home on Wednesday, and they're shutting down construction of this site for the time being because it can't function without all these guys working. So it's it's obviously this is something that they've wanted. Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, traveled to South Korea to negotiate a deal, and he like over the past several years, this is something that they've been really needing. Like rural Georgia needs jobs, and this was gonna create up to 9,000 new jobs, and the local government so Hyundai and LG Chem have both agreed to invest over $12 billion on the project, and the local government has spent over $350 million to improve the roads and make the ports deeper and wider so that they can accommodate the parts and cars coming in and out. And then most of the suppliers were going to be local suppliers. So within an hour's drive of the plant, 20 companies that sell materials or component parts to Hyundai have popped up. Locally sourced products will make up more than 90% of the finished vehicles. So this is a huge boon to the local economy around rural Georgia, where this is. And what this has done is basically a lot of the Koreans at the other LG Chem sites, and there are several across the country, they're just going home because they're like, well, you know what? We don't want to be caught up in any of this and get detained, and we don't know what's going to happen. And so we would rather just go home. Like this is not worth it. And the other sites, like there's a huge site in Michigan that LG Chem has. There's a Tennessee site. So this is the single largest direct foreign investment in Tennessee history. LG Chem is building a large cathode facility and spending about $3.2 billion. And then this is the Georgia plant. This is a $6 billion, close to $6 billion site in Arizona that they're planning on building. And then there's a joint venture with Honda. This is in Ohio. And then, of course, there's the one in Michigan, which is the Ultium one that is kind of with GM. So LG Chem is building a lot of infrastructure in the US, and it was possible that some of these sites would be involved in building the battery for the Aptera. But I think this has put a big chill on that, and the South Korean government and the president of South Korea has said that this is going to make investment in America by South Korean companies difficult. And the South Korean people, if you read the South Korean media, they're pretty upset about this thing because in their mind, like South Korea sees America as kind of their big brother, and they have always kind of looked up to America, and through USAID and American support, Korea became within several decades. Like in the 1950s, Korea was very destitute. Per capita GDP was way less than that of like Haiti, and now Korea is a very advanced first world country. And in a large part, that's due to American support. And South Korea understands that, and South Korea has always been a very good strategic partner to America. And they've considered America to be friends, and to them, this is kind of like if you had like a neighbor who that you were friends with, and you asked them to help you out, and you asked them to like take your cousin or take your brother to the hospital, and then they were going to the hospital and they were speeding, and then you pulled them over for that and put them in jail for speeding while they were trying to help you out because you asked them to help you out. So they wanted LG Chem to come over here and build plants in America, and then they did, and they sent their workers to try to set up these plants so that they can offer jobs and investment in these rural parts of America that need jobs. And then it's possible, we don't know the details. Did they overstay their visa? Were they here on the wrong visa? Who knows? Maybe that's the case. I can tell you one thing for sure. All these guys, they have jobs their jobs are with Korean firms. That's their jobs. Their families are in Korea. They are high skilled technicians and engineers. Like they're not trying to like move illegally to rural Georgia from Korea, where they have their families and their friends and a job and good health care. Like it's one of the safest countries in the world. If you've been to Korea, like no one who has a good job in Korea is trying to move themselves over here. That's just not a thing that's happening. Um, so, anyways, I don't know what this means for Aptera. Like, does this mean that LG Chem will pull out of the deal with Aptera? I don't think so. Does this mean that some of the cells will not be made in America? That's possible because I think a lot of this construction is going to slow down quite a bit, or at least the one in Georgia is definitely stopping for a while. And then a lot of the workers just voluntarily going back to Korea is going to put a damper on things. So I think we're just kind of shooting ourselves in the foot here, is what's happening. And it's very unfortunate. But we'll see. I don't think it's going to make too much of an impact on Aptera, but we'll have to just kind of wait and see at this point. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.